Lauren's in. Right, let's go. Let's just go live, straight out. So, we're back. Unfortunately, Ryan is going to have some editing to do this week. Ryan's not used to editing things. We usually do things with no cuts. But we had a minor disaster, didn't we?
Just a little one.
Yeah. This is exactly right, Ian. Liam came on to cause trouble, as he does, and just wrecked the stream. But it was good to see Liam at the FCAs, and he was with the two HUFC chat guys who are both up for an FCA tonight. We might see Liam again. If he does, Ryan, you're backstage. You can kick him out. Okay, that's producer Ryan's giving us a laugh and a thumbs up. So, McDonald's. I don't think it's McDonald's Wi-Fi, Grimbles, that was the problem. I just think it was Liam that was the problem on it. So, welcome back to anyone who's decided to drop back in and listen to us. Right, what's been going on so far this week? So today, I believe it's today. I've been so out of the loop of what's going on today. There's been there's been appointments this week, hasn't there? So Colchester have made a permanent appointment now of Matty Etherington. What's everyone's thoughts on it?
Well, X/Twitter, notorious for being grumpy, aren't very, very pleased. Just think that they should get someone outside of Colchester, because he was in Colchester already, wasn't he? He wasn't like an external appointment. So they weren't particularly happy about it. But, you know, the unrest looks good for us on Saturday in Stockport. So I'm not too upset about it.
No, you'll be pretty happy that there's unrest there sitting from the fans, and hope it kind of relays across the game. But yeah, he was in his interim. It's been a really interesting time for him as interim, because he came in as interim, and then the game against Forest Green, I think it was, that they had, and then Crawley came along and went, actually, you're not allowed to be the interim manager. You can't do it. And then it was a really weird turn of events. Crawley have been really quiet in terms of strange things that they've done this season. And then they just came out and hit with that. It was bizarre, to say the least. There's also been an appointment in League One. Owen?
Yeah. So Oxford United have got a new manager. It's Des Buckingham, I think that's his name, isn't it?
Yep.
Just making sure, double checking. His last appointment was at Mumbai City in India, but he's managed all across the world, in New Zealand. I think it was Auckland City as well as New Zealand national sides. So he's had a really sort of spell around the world, a bit of an unusual journey for a football coach in the English leagues. But I'm always happy to have people like that, because it brings a new interest in the league, as well as new coaching styles. Like, I was quite happy when we heard about Michael Scudabala on but linking his journey from like the England Universities team to now Lincoln City manager. So just hope it doesn't start this weekend when they play us at the Lamex. So, but yeah, I think Oxford, that's a good managerial appointment, someone with new ideas, and they continue what they were doing with Manning, I'm sure they'll be going up next year.
It's a lot of pressure, though, with the start of the season that Oxford have had, for someone to come in that hasn't maybe been managing at this. They've been managing most recently in India.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of notes on this one, Lauren, don't you?
I have a couple of notes on this one. Yeah, I mean, he has quite a lot of links with the team anyway. I think he may have played for them, but he also started his coaching career at Oxford United. So I know a lot of fans are happy to see him sort of back, which is always nice as well. It's always nice as a fan when you've got someone that you've got a history with. But yeah, I mean, he was linked with Oxford United when Carl Robinson left Oxford as well. So he's been around. He's been around and questioned the whole time. So it's not that surprising, but it's a really good signing for them. I think Mumbai City won the Indian Super League Winners' Shield with him in charge. And he got he said his success was because of the trust that was put in him and his attacking style, which had over 60% possession in his games. So it sounds like he sort of knows how he wants to play and how he wants his team to play. So I think that'll be really interesting to see whether he's successful at Oxford or not.
Yeah, I think also the attacking style, especially, would be what Oxford United fans would want, especially with Manning playing that sort of attacking style. I think that's needed really, because I think it was a bit with like Robinson and things like that. It was a lot more defensive style football, and I think Oxford have been liking it a lot more. So it'd be interesting to see if that attacking style, his attacking style compared to Manning's, will work in League One. I don't know who they have got this weekend. I would need to maybe double check that, but be interested to see how I don't know if he is going to be in charge on Saturday, but if he is, then it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Grimsby still, as Grimbo said here, holding out without a manager as well. There's a few options out there. You always see the same names. Now, when a manager's coming up in League Two, you always tend to see these same names popping up, don't you? Danny Cowley, the Cowley brothers always seem to pop up at any managerial job that comes along at the moment in League One or League Two. The aforementioned, before we get rudely cut off, Nathan Rooney, strongly linked to coming over as well, linked to Grimsby. Phil Parkinson is another one, as in not Wrexham. Phil Parkinson, the National League Phil Parkinson.
Yeah. They're
Pardon?
saying there's also you've got Matty Taylor now, especially after him sacking. Bristol, I think Bristol Rovers could be a good place for him. Back down south, sort of where he was with Exeter. Maybe even Exeter in a couple of weeks. If Caldwell, I know he's got an international break, but if he loses his next couple of games, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone too. So maybe he holds up for them. I really like Luke Gerrard from Bournemouth. I think he deserves an opportunity up the leagues as well.
I'd be really surprised if he left Bournemouth.
I
really would. Because
he just deserves.
He loves Bournemouth. He's a Bournemouth legend. Look, Garrett. He was a player there. He's so well loved by the board, the fans. Yeah, they're having a bit of a rocky start to the season, but I think he's one of these managers that's allowed an off season.
Yeah.
And I do think they're a team very much in transition now, and he's going to be able to turn them back around. They've brought in a lot of new players, whereas they don't usually do that, Bournemouth. And they will rebuild a team and they'll start to climb again. It probably will get looked at the same way that you've seen Pete Wild get looked at in League Two, and the same way that our man Andy Woodman gets linked to a lot of League Two clubs, because they are good managers with maybe not as much experience, and they've been managing the National League.
Yeah,
this I am excited for. Ian always pulls out a banger of a question for us.
Yeah. Also,
all the time
about Bromley. Have you guys seen what they're doing? What they've partnered with FM Football Manager, and you have to there's doing a competition where they pick someone if you've done like an objective, and then you've got to send in like a 2-3 minute video about why you should be like the analyst of Bromley Football Club, and if you win, you get a full-time job at Bromley as an analyst.
As a tactician.
Yeah.
I mean, we interviewed Andy Woodman yesterday.
I know. Yeah, I just find that really cool. I was just saying, in case no one has watched it yet, because I've not had the time, unfortunately, to watch it yet. But will be tonight. But yeah, what I mean is that is something really cool, because I believe Football Manager is an incredible game. I play it all the time. Probably a bit addicted to it, but it's a brilliant game, and it has shown that people have got jobs because of it. People have got analysis, managers, that sort of thing. I think it's a really, really, really good tool, and that's why clubs use it. I know it's a bit off topic, but I just find it quite interesting.
So what team are you both taking forward to win their respective league and put the 3-minute video package for to become the Bromley tactician? Who are you both taking?
Well, I'm a Stevenage fan. I'm already in my second season. I'm in the
You're
championship.
you're not allowed to take your own club.
I always take your own club. I do
can't
that.
Take your own club.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll do a save down in National League South. So I'll go and do St Albans next. So I'll go into the Premiership, and then I'll do St Albans.
Listen, that's who you suggested for me, Lauren. Who would you take if you're doing a Football Manager save? Can't be Stockport.
Oh, I do usually go for Stockport in Football Manager, and in FIFA I put in my own player in Stockport and get us up there. So I am a little bit bad at choosing my own team. I don't know. I do have some soft spots for some small teams when we were down in sort of the National League and the National League North. So I do kind of get tempted to do some sort of National League team. I don't know who I'd pick specifically though. Someone local, maybe Alty, someone like that.
Alty, good shout. Good shout.
I only pick St Albans because it's the nearest National League South club to me. It's like because the thing is, Stevenage is quite like unless you go to London, but like for me, obviously, because I live quite close to London, but like it's just Stevenage, and we're quite small compared to a lot of teams in the league, and we're quite new, so we're not really have any sort of looking about, and also we don't have any rivals either, so you can't really look at doing another team as well.
It's true.
It's when you formed in 1976 that you, yeah.
I like it. I love an unemployed start on it. I always like to start unemployed and then just see what comes up and just go from there. So currently I'm at Salford. I've not really done anything yet. I'm just ready to go. Well noticed, Charlie. Second stream this hour. We are certainly working hard. It's either that or just Liam's trying to cause chaos for us. Fifey, glad you're back. We're back as well. So, this Adrian he was a very, very early guest on Lower League. Look, I'm not just putting this to me. I want to put this to you all.
Yeah.
Are Mansfield going up this season?
I don't think so. They've been doing really well at the moment, I'm not being honest, but they always have a tendency to slip up when it most counts. I'm sorry, it's something that the Mansfield have done for a while, right? And I think the top three for me is going to be Wrexham, Stockport, and Notts County. I think they're going to be too strong this year. Is
that in any particular order, or is
not really? I think those two will fight out pretty big. But I think those two will go up comfortably. That fourth promotion spot will be quite tight. I think Mantle will be in the playoffs for it, but I think there'll be that team in fourth because not many teams who go fourth win the playoffs usually. It's just how it works usually, especially if you're pushing out for promotion. Happened to Stockport last year, unfortunately. Happened to, luckily for last year, Notts County up in Notts County in the National League, but it's happened to a lot of teams before. I think Mansfield have been the curse of that as well at one point. So, it would be really interesting, but I don't think they will. I think there'll be a surprise side. I back Crew Alexandra to go up this year.
I like Crew for going up this season.
Yeah, I think Saturday against Notts County really showed they should, like, even though they might have been the best performance, but they got the job done. They took advantage of what wasn't really a penalty, but they were there at the moment. They took the opportunity they got, they scored it. For them, they'll be happy with that. Don't matter about how it was taken. The result they need, done really well. They did really well against us last year as well, even though they weren't great. But they played really good defensive behind the ball, and they did really well. Except that one, I think it was this game where like there's one player who got down with cramp but didn't get up, so he's left in the penalty box. So Reed just stood right next to like the edge of the box when everyone else was near the halfway line. So he got a goal from it. It was the weirdest goal ever.
The less said about your players being in the box while things are going on, the better. Because you've done that to us last season. It was Rose was snuck in the goal and stayed behind Ben Killip.
Yeah,
and just nicked the ball off him. Just the most opportunistic moment that it was horrible to watch.
Were you there?
No, I just seen what happened. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was out of
Go on.
nowhere. It's funny though.
What's your thoughts on Mansfield, Lauren?
I do think that Crewe is a good shout for going up in playoffs. I think it is actually still really, really tight at the top. Obviously, we've got a 5-point buffer. Yes. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mansfield are around the playoff positions, but I don't think that they're going up autos. I think they're in with a shot of playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're not.
I think they will definitely make it into the playoffs. The big thing in what Charlie said here, and trying to find his comments, this one here. If they don't sort out a striker in January, at this stage, they won't go up. They've got to have a reliable setup. After watching the Wrexham Cup game, you've got to get someone in to score your goals. This is Mansfield's biggest problem.
Yeah.
They've been crying out for a goal scorer for me for about 2 seasons now. They've had resource. He's had his injuries. I don't think he's come back as strong as he was. There's strikers out there for them. I think the big one that I would go for personally if I was Mansfield is Luke Armstrong. He's still not happy. He's still not happy at Harrogate. Yeah. Everything that went on with Wrexham over the summer, that deal falling through, surely he's going to want out and someone's going to come in for him.
Do Wrexham go back in for him, though?
No. Not a chance. Wrexham are sorted up front.
Yeah. The thing is, that's what I said. I think Mansfield are still unbeaten, aren't they, at the moment in the league? Aren't they?
Yes,
they're still unbeaten, aren't they? The thing is, if they had, let's just say they signed Luke Armstrong in the summer, they're top. And they're favourites to go up. Because those draws would have been turned into wins, some of them at least. Yeah. That's the problem. Strikers wins games all the time. And it's shown last year, we didn't have like a proper strike. We had someone who scored a decent amount of goals for us last year. But the difference was Mansfield don't have anyone really scoring goals this year. We had a 3 or 4 or 5 scoring goals last year. But this, like you said, we obviously a surprise package in League One, but it's because we've got someone who scored 10, 11, 12 goals in the league this season in Jamie Reid. And he's always shown for being out at the big moments. That's why we call him Big O'Reilly, because he's there when we need him to count. It happened against Tranmere, Villa, Grimsby. It happened on I think Stockport as well. Sorry, last year. But yeah, it just shows like at the big moment he's there, and that's what you need. You need a striker with that.
I'm going to bring in Ian's question of the week. Ian, this is now a permanent feature. Your question of the week, and I think you need to bring this every single week. If you're not here one week, send a question in advance to us, and we'll get the question of the week up. Ian's question of the week this week is, for everyone here, everyone in the chat as well, what is the most memorable goal you've seen live? Not the best one, the one you'll never, ever, ever forget seeing. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I already know my answer. And I was going to mention this earlier when you were talking about people chilling in the box, your players chilling in the box. Can I go first?
Yeah, no worries.
Steal the spotlight.
Go for it.
So my goal is, I think we were still in National League North, and it was a brilliant. Well, it was quite funny from Frank Mulhern. So he was stood behind the goalkeeper. So the goalkeeper didn't check his box when he'd received the ball, threw it out in front of him, and Frank just snips around and whacks it into the goal. Like, just absolutely from nowhere because the goalie didn't check. Now, the goal itself was funny and memorable just for being absolutely absurd. But the best thing was, next time Ben Hinchliffe got the ball, he very deliberately and like almost comically went, really obviously looks behind him just to make fun of the goalkeeper. And I can never, ever forget that part of this match. It was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen a goalkeeper do. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah,
Love it. What about yourself?
I've got two really. One that's probably quite predictable, and that's Campbell's goal against Villa. I don't think I'll ever forget that goal because that's. I mean, beating a Premier League side away after losing. That's my brother. In the comments, thank you, Drew. You also spelled Campbell wrong. Learn to spell. But yeah, that, and then also this might be a different one, but it was Good Friday. I think it was 2014. Ben Kennedy. It was I think it was about 18, 19 against Southend. I can remember because it was a terrible pitch. I can remember being the North stand where it was a stand instead of seating, and I could just remember cutting in on his left and then put it in the top corner, and that was for me just brilliant because it's probably people old to say, but I was probably about 7 or 8, and that just shaped me being a Borough fan for life because got season ticket next year and I've been going ever since. So.
Love it. I'm going to take it back to when you were both spring chickens, or even more spring chickens than you were. I'm going back to 2005 for mine.
Wasn't even born.
Yeah, 2000. showing my age here. So yeah, it was Hartlepool v Sheffield Wednesday, and it was chucking it down. It was one of the wettest pitches I can remember seeing at a game. And if you've seen it now before, well, you can't play on that pitch. There's no way they would want to get people on and get the mops on and just get all the water off. And Adam Boyd had an absolute stormer. He took about 3 players and he just pinged it. It was a beautiful goal, but the conditions that it was in just made it even better. If you've not seen it, go on YouTube, just search Adam Boyd v Sheffield Wednesday, and it pops up. It's a great goal, and the conditions just make it even better. It was spectacular. Yeah, 2005. What a year. That's when we were good. We were good in 2005.
Was we in League One at the time? Is that where you were?
We were in League One at the time, and then we got into the playoff final in 2005, 2006.
Yeah. So when the playoff final happened, I would have been probably about less than a month old.
It was the best and the worst day that I've had is that playoff final. Losing it was horrific. We shouldn't have lost it. I've spoken about this loads on here. I don't believe we should have lost. We get done by the referee big time. Was this at
the Millennium or Principality?
It was the Millennium. Yeah, it was a Millennium Stadium that it was at. And we just get done by the ref. And I firmly believe the outcome of that game has changed the course of where we've been as a club. I don't think we'd be in the National League now if we ended up winning it. Yeah. I think, Ryan, if you went through, give us a nod below, Ryan, if you've went through a lot of the comments here and put them up, because I've not read any of the comments out to see whose goals have came up, so I don't want to reshare them.
Yeah. Who beat you in the final?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh,
so that kind of came back to bite us.
Yeah. Do you think then if you won that game, you would have been maybe a championship side or in the Football League now? Then,
yeah, we'd still be in the Football League now. You think the money from being in the Championship, we wouldn't have stayed in the Championship that season. No chance. Hartlepool in the Championship, it would have been unheard of.
Bit like Scunthorpe, but they did it for a few years, didn't they?
Yeah,
they had a really
they had a nosebleed.
Yeah, because they had a really good system of get to the third round, fourth round of the FA Cup, get a big side, get loads of money, buy cheap players, stay up. And they did that for a good couple of seasons. But then when they got to League One, they wanted to try and spend the money to get back up to the Championship. And obviously it's gone well down and they're in the National League North. But now hopefully they've stabilised and they'll be flying up the leagues and no problem, hopefully.
This is Fifey going back to the Mansfield question. He wants their unbeaten streak to last a little bit longer because it would be textbook Swindon to take the record.
It would be.
What is textbook Swindon these days, Fifey?
Lose to get smashed by a non-league side, go beat one of the top sides in the division.
I'll tell you what textbook Swindon is. I'll need to try and find it. I've got a comment again on
Yeah.
on textbook Swindon.
Oh,
This is textbook Swindon.
I forgot about the Abramovich. I completely forgot about the Roman Abramovich scenario or the news about the debts.
So
Oh God.
someone's going to have to correct me if I am wrong here. The news has come out this week that Swindon, several years ago, have had loan money put into them from a company that has been associated to Roman Abramovich. And that money only had to be paid back if they reached League One within, I believe, X amount of time. These are reports. This is supposedly, this isn't, yes, it's happened. Just want to just firm this out there. I'm not saying this definitely happened because I don't want any more. I'm not going to go there. Actually, Ryan's having heart palpitations with me speaking about Swindon a bit more.
Lots of allegedlys in this sentence.
A lot of allegedlys, and because they hadn't got up to League One in X amount of time, it's now been written off. Is that what everyone gets of this? Someone please correct me if I'm wrong in this. It's an interesting situation again that's come out. It just seems like there's situation after situation after situation with them. Oh, where is this coming from? Yeah. Fifey's put in, we are so bloop. We had oil money and still couldn't get promoted. There was embargoes on though as well. I just don't get how this has happened. If this has come in, is it legal within football? Because then there's technically the dual ownership that comes in from Abramovich. If there's fines coming in, if there's points deductions coming in, where does this come to and who does it hit with? Do Swindon get punished for this? Or does this go back to Mr. Abramovich?
Yeah. Wait. Also, though, you're not allowed dual ownership because obviously he was ownership of Chelsea at the time. Am I right in saying he was still at Chelsea? He was owner of Chelsea at the time?
Yes, because I believe this was back in 2017, I think it was.
Okay. I'm just wondering, do Chelsea get punished for that? Because it's his ownership.
I genuinely don't know how far back this would go and what string, if you pulled a string, what not would come out of this and who would get the punishment, sanction, embargo, points deductions, fight, whatever.
Chelsea are being investigated, apparently. So, but yes, Swindon, they just had after the other, just bad news after the other on the pitch and off. I do feel bad for their fans because they're a great group of fans. We saw that. I was unfortunate not to go to Swindon away last year because it got postponed 3 times due to the FA Cup and then bad pitches because that was the game that if we won, we would get promoted against Grimsby at home if we won. But what I saw, the fans were brilliant, even though there wasn't as many as it would have been if it was a Saturday. And they were passionate, and they've been up to, League One, the Championship, and they've had great moments, and I just feel so bad for them because they're a great group of fans, and they deserve better than what they're getting. At this point, the way they're going, they're going to be down in the National League soon. I don't want them to, but they're a great club.
Just had confirmation in from Ryan, so Chelsea would be the club that would get hit from this, not Swindon. Chelsea are being investigated over it, and if there was going to be sanctions, fines, points deductions, it would fall back on Chelsea. And that's just another club where everything's going wrong at, but we don't cover that here because the Premier League gets enough coverage as it does. Yeah, this is Fifey's point where he's clarifying. The money was loaned to Lee Power, who then loaned it to Swindon, so they're okay. But yeah, the FA will be the FA, and we'll probably see Swindon get punished in some way or another anyway.
Yeah. Do transfer embargoes also include loan deals?
I believe so.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I'm just genuinely curious. But yeah, I do feel bad because, like I said, they've had these near misses recently, and they've got some great players at that club. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything on the matters of the club because whatever what happened before, but just I hope just things get better because at the moment there's so much doom and gloom.
I don't. I hope it continues. It gives us something to talk about.
For our sake, but for the fans' sake, I hope
Yeah.
that it starts clearing itself up.
But it's like this comment here. It's so hard being a Swindon fan, not knowing if there's going to be more bad news every day. You wake up and you go, what else is going to come out?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because that 2020, when we were rubbish, I know it's a bit different to financial, but 2020, when we had that COVID season and we were rubbish, like we won about 3 games all year. But because of McIntyre's financial situation and Bury, unfortunately, going under, we didn't know what was going on. So, like, it was like August, and we still didn't know what division we were going to be in because the FA and the EFL put an appeal in about like that Macclesfield should get that more points deducted. So we had no idea until like maybe a month before the season, less than that even. And like I was celebrating because like we shouldn't be in it. We should be in the football league at the moment anyway. A lot of clubs do say about that for us, but yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky that we benefited from 2 clubs folding. That's what happened. We're lucky. We're a very lucky club. No Stevenage fan, no proper Stevenage fan will say, "Oh, it's fine because 2 teams went under." We're lucky that we're still in the football league because 2 teams went under, and we took advantage of that. But I don't want that to happen to other clubs. I don't want that to happen to other clubs. We got lucky one time. Let's hope nothing like that happens again. It was a luck. All we had was blind luck, and I just hope that never happens again.
I'm going to stick on Stevenage for a second on the point of blind luck and an article that we've published today on the links of Steve Evans. Steve Evans has been linked to the Rotherham job up in the Championship. I was surprised to see Steve Evans being linked to a Championship position. I don't think he's had the experience of the Championship. He's a very, very good League Two and seemingly League One manager. As a Borough fan, what's your opinion on it?
I'm not surprised he's been given jobs. He's been offered, or there's room to offer jobs because, well, he did a decent job. He's done a brilliant job at Rotherham, kept them up that first season. Went to Leeds and do a great job. But at that time, they were a positive. It was a jumping ship, really, wasn't it? It was like a poison chalice at Leeds. But he's rebuilt himself for us. Got us up to League One, doing really, really well in League One. But yeah, I'm hoping he stays because I think he's really good here, and I think with his situation, I don't think he want to move. So I'm not particularly worried now. I was a bit worried at the start, but I feel like now I'm a little bit less worried that he's going to leave. I just feel like the Stevenage, the project we have here is a bit more, let's just say, I think we have more chance to be in the Championship next year than Rotherham do. Because I think Rotherham they set up last year, but you've seen how sort of up and down they have been, roller coaster ride for the last sort of 6 years. And this year they've struggled. And if they don't get someone good in now, I wouldn't be surprised if they're down this year. And I think we're having a really good ride at the moment. And if we can continue doing that, I think we'll be in the playoffs this season. But yeah.
It's a fair comment. Lauren, are you surprised by how well Stevenage have been doing this season?
Pleasantly. Pleasantly so. Because I keep an eye out on League One. I won't say I necessarily follow it very well.
You're keeping your eye on it for next season, aren't you? That's all it is.
Exactly. I just want to, know where I am. But no, because where Stevenage is now is way higher than I thought they would be. And I don't know if that's because, again, I didn't really know much about League Two when we came up to League Two because we're still quite new to the Football League. It was season before last that we came up, so it's all I didn't really know much about sort of their history, but I know that it can be like quite a change, and and especially with looking at where the other two teams that went up and how they are not doing nearly as well. I'm pleasantly surprised at how high they are, but that's an external person not really knowing much about what's going on the inside of the club. So
Yeah, I think it's just good business. It's just
Thanks.
been good business.
Stevenage are 19 places higher than I thought they would have been.
I
I thought you were going straight back down.
Yeah, it's a fair point, but I think the thing is, no one knew what our business was going to be like at the start of the season. But we've come in, we've bought loads of players that are League One quality, players that have played in League One before. Like you got to say, the two Thompsons have played in League One, the Championship. Freeman's played in League One, the Championship. Butler's played in League One, the Championship. And all the players we've brought up with us, and Forster Casquered before, he's played in the Championship and League One before. And then, but look at Pilgiani and Reed, for example, and Van Kooten and Wilding. They've never played football above League Two level, but they've shown they can play League One level. They've shown the past couple of months, and yeah, I am really enjoying the football at the moment. As you say, it's been really good. People might think because I think we got put as one of the most direct teams in the league, but it's not just hoof up and just playing Sunday league, put out to the tall striker, because we're playing really nice direct football. But you look at the third goal against Derby at the weekend, a couple of weekends ago, we were just passing it around with brilliant football. But yeah, I think if we can continue what we're doing, I think we have a really good chance at the playoffs this year. And if we could sort of emulate maybe a little bit better what we did in 2011-12 when we went out the first time round, where we got to the playoffs and narrowly got beat by Sheffield United, if we can go even better this year and play Championship football. Sadly, I'm hopefully going to uni next year, so I won't be able to see it, which is the worst timing imaginable. But yeah.
But Ryan just said here that Stevenage are getting thrashed this weekend. Ryan, well done for putting your own comment up here.
Yeah,
commenting on one screen and then producing it and just going bang, putting it right up here. So Stevenage are getting thrashed this weekend.
Yeah,
Scabala is going to show Evans how to play football.
Yeah, I saw a comment earlier about someone said about how Stevenage would have been without if we did go down instead of Macclesfield. I saw that comment flash up. That came out, and I think we probably would still win the National League, to be honest, because
it's horrible. It's
horrible. It's a hard league to get out of.
And Wallace is a great chairman. I always say this, that if there is an advisory board of like fit and proper tests, because this is my opinion, would be that they should have I said this on the League One podcast a couple of weekends ago about Reading, but about having like a panel for the fit and proper for new chairman, and there should be a chairman on it. And I suggested Phil Wallace because he's shown how to run a small club in the Football League sustainably and well. And it's shown. We've been in League One for 5-6 seasons.
Charlie asked there, do you think the credit goes completely to Evans, or is there more going on? And I think you perfectly answered that there, that it's just solid ownership. I mean, Evans has done phenomenal recruitment. The second I seen Pierre Gianni was going to you, I was like, hold the phone. This man means business. And you've done your business so early before the start of the season where you got promoted, and it was early. You got a good business very quickly.
It's not just the owner and Evans. I also want to give credit to Leon Hunter, director of football. He's come in, he's found the targets Evans wanted, and has got them done straight away and early. And it's shown. We've picked up some brilliant loan players as well. So we've got the contacts to go at these loan players as well. And it's shown. Finley Burns, I'm not even joking, I think Finley Burns is a Premier League player in 3 years' time. He is such a great ball-playing defender. And he even go midfield. He's played a couple of times in midfield for us. He's brilliant. But we've got great recruitment. And no doubt that if we can go up this year, or even if we don't go up this year, we'll have great recruitment next year. As long as we have Evans and Hunter in charge, I think, and Phil Wallace, I think we'll be completely fine.
I'm going to bring on a point which you mentioned. We're all talking there about the National League and how difficult it is to get out of that league and what a horrible league it is. Lauren, your club spent a long time in the National League. You went down to National League North, came back up, and then got out of the National League.
I mean,
we came back up through the playoffs and we've went back down. We're back in it now. What is both of your opinions of the promotion and playoff situation at the National League, where you get one team up and you get 2nd to 7th in the playoffs?
I personally feel like it's a bottleneck, especially because it feels like League 2 was a bit of a step up, but not majorly, especially when you see all these teams coming through now with like us, Wrexham, Notts County, all coming from the same bunch of like 2 seasons, and you can see that the quality coming up is like the very, very similar or very high quality. So I find it quite an intense playoff period with the 2 to 7, because it's obviously even more games, and obviously playoffs. I mean, we were notorious for never being able to show up when it mattered, and so we'd be having like the most fantastic season ever, and then just get like lose in the playoffs. I think it should become a bit more like League 2, where we at least have 2 automatics. But that's my opinion as someone who's been trapped there.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky to have never seen my team play in the National League, because I was a bit too young to remember us going out through champions, and I think it should be 3 up, 3 down. I think that should be, but I would keep the structure with the playoff system to do with so it'd be top 2 for me to go up, and then it'd be 3rd and 8th, because obviously it's 2 and 7th at the moment, isn't it? Because I like the one-legged structure, because it allows that pressure, and that sort of showed Notts County, they were 2 minutes away, 1 minute away from losing a playoff semi-final against Boreham Wood. Like
Dale said it here. Notts nearly didn't make it out of the league, finishing on 107 points.
Yeah, if they lost that game,
it's horrible. It's not fair at all that system is there. And a team that finishes second, any other season they would have won the league.
Yeah,
finishing 107 points, they should be going up automatically.
Any other season, that's a points record.
It's crazy. This season, you're going to see Chesterfield probably, they might surpass it.
Yeah,
of 100 of I can't remember the exact points at Wrexham. It was very close to 107. There was a couple of points in it between them both.
Yeah,
Chesterfield might surpass it if they don't take their foot off the gas, because I was working out on a points per game basis. They are set for 120 on a points per game basis at the moment, which would be ridiculous. It's sitting something like 2.6 points per game. Yeah, it is. It's horrific.
It was 111.
111. So nothing in it. LOFC Gaming, so glad we got out of the National League when we did. It's time to go 3 up from the National League, but for obvious reasons, we can't see the EFL clubs ever agreeing to 3 up, 3 down. And this is the exact problem that we see. The League 2 clubs, or I'm not sure if it's League 2 and League 1 that all vote on, all of EFL vote on it, will never vote for 3 down, because they're terrified of losing their league status. Yeah.
Well, you look at, I would say look at all of the FA Cup. I always like using the FA Cup as sort of a statement. And what I would do is I would have the EFL trophy, instead of the under-21 clubs, be National League clubs, because it also shows that sort of what that discrepancy would be between League 2, League 1 and the National League. But Aldershot beat Swindon 7-4, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Swindon goals came right at the end as well.
Yeah.
Like they were
7-0 up.
Yeah.
This is what I mean, is that I actually think, like, I'm sorry, Grant, but the only club that's really gone straight back down after going up, or not straight back down, but only a couple of seasons, was Hartlepool. They're sort of an outlier in this. Every other team has thrived really in the league. since they've gone up. You look at recently, Notts County and Wrexham, they're in the top 3-4 at the moment in League Two. The year before,
Chesterfield will do this. Chesterfield will do the same next season.
Oh,
They'll come up
yeah.
this season. They'll do the same.
Yeah.
They will probably go again back-to-back promotions. Chesterfield.
Yeah.
The difference between them and Hartlepool, I'm going to put Grimsby in this bracket as well. Not that Grimsby have went down, that they haven't bounced straight up.
Yeah.
Money, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Is that, but you look at now a lot of teams invest in the National League, but I would even say that most teams in the National League would beat the bottom 7, 8 in League Two.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
I do think that the leagues are a lot closer than people who haven't watched the leagues would think they are.
Well, you look at between League Two and League One, that's not even that much of a. There's some it is.
The big gulf between League One and League Two is finances.
Yeah,
the financial jump from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1 is a lot more significant than people think.
Yeah, I think
a lot more significant.
You look at the clubs between I'm going to throw Stevenage in this because we're quite a small club, but Fleetwood, Burton, Stevenage, throw Northampton in there, Carlisle, Exeter, because they're fan owned as well, aren't they? Exeter are fan owned.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at what Reading, even though they're a bit of a crap at the moment, but they are a big club. Bolton, Portsmouth, Peterborough. Those clubs are like former Premier League clubs, former Championship clubs, won FA Cups, League Cups, league titles. Like you look at these and look at us who were founded in 1976, and all we have to go for is first ever team to win a trophy at Wembley Stadium, the new one, and a few playoff wins, a playoff win, and a league and a National League title, and a promotion, 2 promotions from League One, League Two, including a playoff title win and that. But it's just like we're so undervalued. But you look at like the difference between it's such a gulf in class. We're fighting up to them. That's what I like about League One is that you do see that quite often where lower sides go up though, or do well. But an Albion. Luton, even though Luton is a bit bigger, but you could bet an Albion, they would straight up from League One, from League Two.
A couple of comments came in here that I want to go on. I'll comment on this one firstly because Jake, we've got it up from Jake. Do you not think it makes Football League status better as it's harder to gain if it was 3 up? Do you not think it makes your Football League status better as it's harder to gain? And he also thinks it should be 3 up, 3 down. Yeah, because it gives you that prestige, I suppose, of being the Football League club. But I still think it should. I also think it should be 3 up, 3 down. But I've got a different way how I think it should be. I still think first and second should be automatic. I think the playoffs should remain in the same format as they are with the one leg, but instead of going 3rd to 8th, go 3rd to 7th, and 3rd bottom of League Two enters into a relegation playoff. Yeah,
so a bit like Scotland.
Yeah, the same format that they do in Scotland.
It's a good system.
It gives potential protection for the team that finishes 3rd bottom, because you look last season, I'm going to use Crawley as an example. Crawley were piss poor last season as well. And it came down to the wire that they stayed up. They probably equally as Hartlepool deserved to go down because we were both terrible, terrible teams last season. And I think it would have only been fair to enter them into the playoffs to try and earn their position. And you would have seen Wrexham and Notts come up automatically in the playoff for the remainder, and you would see another team. This is also now going on to Dale's point. No disrespect, but Chesterfield have no competition this season. There's the 2 best teams National League have ever seen have left that league. Totally agree with you. Chesterfield are going to absolutely walk that league. That league will be over by March, maybe February. It is done.
Who do you
look at Barnet?
Yeah.
You look at Barnet, who are second. Barnet will probably fall off. They've not got the depth that's there. It's a difficult one. Chesterfield could play 2 first teams. They've players like Will Grigg playing in the National League. They've got the money to buy more players if they need to. If they get injury issues, they'll make more signings in January. Their squad depth will go from amazing or great to amazing. That will be wrapped up. They're spending League One money in the National League, and it's done because there's no financial fair play in the National League. The good thing about this, though, is it's going to open the doors for maybe a smaller club to come up through the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to our good friend Andy Woodman. You could see a Bromley finishing in the playoffs. They finished in the playoffs twice in the last 3 years, and they failed both times to come through.
Yeah.
They've got a good team. And you could see a Bromley coming up into League Two. Who else is currently sitting in the playoffs in the National League? You could see Solihull Moors come up. You could see Alty come up. You could see Aldershot come up. You could see Gateshead come up.
Yeah.
There's so many options.
That's my pick. Gateshead. I know they lost Williamson, but I think, is it Elliott now in charge? The former keeper from Newcastle. I think Gateshead are really, really good. Like, I didn't go to last year, but they looked decent. They looked pretty good when they played us, and they had a really good end to the season last year and got to the trophy final. And they've got a really good infrastructure. I love to see a Gateshead in the National League, in the Football League. Sorry, or Bromley or Altrincham. I want someone that's not really been in this league before. I want someone new, because I want to see new teams play in the National League, in the Football League, because it's you want to see that. That's why I love when Sutton came up and Barrow, because their sides have not been in the National League for ever or for a while, and that's what you want to see.
Who else have we got here? Halifax, yeah. Grimble Senior fancies Halifax in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sam Griffin, and interested to see if Mickey Mellon can get Oldham firing experience at this level. I think Oldham, not this season, I think Oldham will be there or thereabouts next season.
How long do you think for Hartlepool? Go on, a couple of years?
I wanted to see us in the playoffs this season. I don't think it will be for one reason or another. I think we will be looking next season, maybe the season after. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. It's just that, I mean, you just don't get that sort of, once you've sort of fell from the Football League, you feel like you're mid-table of the National League straight away, just because of how. But yeah,
strong.
I mean, yeah, that's what I said when you said about the relegation playoff structure. Like Charlie's saying, I do love it because it's especially. I watch a bit of Scottish. I watch a bit of football, Scottish football, because I have family who was born up north in Scotland, and Arbroath were in the playoffs a couple of years ago. They're still a part-time club in the Championship. It still amazes me, to be honest. But like they got to the semi-finals. They nearly got to the Premiership at one point. They nearly finished second with teams like Kilmarnock paying all their players full-time wages. But it's that sort of, I know it's a bit off topic, but I love that relegation playoff because it's so much pressure, especially on the league side and on the side from the high division, and it's brilliant to watch. Not as much as you're a fan. As a neutral, brilliant.
Could you both deal with it? Sitting in the stands in a relegation playoff, knowing that if your team loses this one game, that is you are consigned to the National League. Lauren, how would you deal with it?
I mean, the fact that I have seen countless seasons of us just be absolutely terrible, especially in sort of big pressure moments. I just don't think I would. I still can't watch penalties. Any penalty, I have to close my eyes. Even when it's not my team. Like, I couldn't watch something that was like that high pressure. I think I just sort of listen to it and keep my Twitter up. So my Twitter uploads first, so I can prepare myself.
Would you have the relegation playoff for all the leagues, or just the National League and League Two?
Just the National League into League Two, because it's two different associations. You've got the EFL, who has Championship 1 and 2, and then you've got the National League, who has National League North and South. So that it would need to be between those. I mean, League 2 and League 1 need to get their shit sorted anyway, because League 1 is 3 up, 4 down.
It's weird. It's just the weirdest thing ever.
4 down!
So if that could cost higher. But wouldn't mind a system. Imagine a Premier League and Championship relegation playoff. It would be carnage. And I would love it.
No, the Premier League just wouldn't allow it. The money involved in the Premier League would never happen.
But surely you can market it though really well. You can put it. You know how rugby. This is another sport, but you know how rugby league do this is like £1 million game, right? They call it the £1 million game. Why not do that? Relegation playoff, the £1 million game, or how much millions it is. Put loads of money into it. Put it at Wembley. It will make. I could tell you, it will drive a lot of money.
Leave them to chase their eggs. That's egg chasers.
Yeah,
it's for me. I just want to be a really, really fun idea.
It'd be. I don't think I could watch my team in a relegation playoff knowing that.
Yeah.
Be a 1-0 and then that is you done. You've lost your league status after one game.
Yeah.
And
it's weird though, because what would you do? Would you have them meet the relegation side in the playoff, or would you do because I know for Scotland, I know in the Premiership, they just play that two-legged game, or would you do it like with the Championship, League One, League Two in Scotland, where it's the team in the playoffs, the relegation side has to actually play the full system, or would you just have them play that one game?
I've not even thought about it.
I just want to see that. Yeah. I just because I get really into my sort of those sort of things. I get really into it. So I was thinking that'd be really good if someone could put that in, because it raises the profile. It would raise the profile. Someone said about how Wrexham raised the profile of the National League. That will also raise the profile of the National League, because you can put it as, like you said, I was saying about Championship and the Premier League. You could put it down as like the big game, the game that can make you between heartbreak and losers, and it can make loads of money. It'll probably feel like Wembley or feel close to Wembley, because it'd be interesting
to see who would actually televise it, because you've got your playoffs for the National League are all on TNT, or National League's all on TNT. Yeah. Anything involving EFL clubs is on Sky. So the interesting thing would be the TV rights for that game, of who would actually get it.
I would do it as the early ones on TNT and then the final on Sky, because it involves the league side. Or you simulcast it maybe if you want to. It depends what they go for.
Who knows? Lauren, this is one for you. Ian's come in with another banger of a question. Will Stockport equal a league record of 12 league wins on the bounce on Saturday?
I am super positive about us at the moment. So I'm going to touch wood. I'm going to say yeah. I am rarely confident about our team, but just the way that we look at the moment, and the fact that, I mean, we say it every week, that the win that we've got is like one that we wouldn't have won last season, or we're turning what should have been draws into wins and winning in unconventional ways. And just the way that things are with Colchester United at the moment, especially their absolute stunner of an own goal a couple of games back. If you haven't seen that, it was incredible. I highly recommend you watch it. I did have a giggle. But I would hope that we do. Although I wouldn't be surprised if then the next game we don't. But we've managed to
you can't throw it away against Newport.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the pressure would get to us, and luckily we've been able to, because obviously Tuesday was the trophy that no one cares about. I mean, they might care about it, but very few do. And so we managed to let all of our players have a rest. So it's quite nice to have our fresh legs back. I reckon we'll do it.
I think you'll do it as well. I think you'll break it. I think you'll go to 13. I think you will beat Newport as well. Yeah. Then you've got Salford just after, who are now starting to pick up a bit more form. So that's the big one.
Yeah.
And then you've got Morecambe after that, who are also a tough team to play against. So you've got a couple of tough ones. Then it would be Sutton, who you'll comfortably beat. Because
that's the thing, though. You've created that buffer at the top, so it has given you that. Even though you don't particularly want to, it's given that buffer to sort of, in case you do lose or draw a game, you've got that sort of cushion to just walk away from and then come back again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, before we finish up, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. We'll try and wrap this up fairly quickly. There's been a couple of game changes or date changes for games. So there was news out this week that Doncaster v Bradford has been changed. So this was changed at the request of Doncaster because Notts County are playing on the Friday, and this isn't a game in December. It's been brought forward to the 21st rather than the Friday rather than the Saturday because there's other games on I think it's Boxing Day, I believe it is. Someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. And there's been a lot of unrest from Bradford fans saying, "Oh, well, why is this being brought forwards? We've had tickets bought for this. We've had travel arrangements sorted for the Saturday." How much notice do you think clubs should have to give fans before they rearrange a game like that?
2 months, month and a half, maybe 2 months. I luckily, I think from next year for TV, it's going to be the first game of the season till Christmas. That's going to be told when the fixtures come out with a new TV deal. You'll know when your games are ours, and they won't be changed. Hopefully, so at least that'll be right. But yeah, I think so. It'll be at least 2 months because you're not going to arrange a travel really for 2 months, are you? So unless it's long staying, you might get a hotel. But other than that, I think 2 months, maybe a month and a half. They've only done it, I think, because you said Notts County, right? So that's probably why it was a knee-jerk reaction because they don't want Notts County to get that extra rest, especially during the festive period where rest is key because there's so many games in such a congested period of time. I understand why they did it. It's just a bit unlucky to the fans, especially just before Christmas.
Lauren, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, a lot more notice than was given for this one. I mean, yeah, probably. Well, I would say at least a month. I know 2 months might be sometimes hard to give that much notice, but I think definitely enough, like a month, maybe even a bit more, just for people who do have to travel up and down the country, especially if there's like games in London and places like that are expensive trains whenever you get anywhere closer than 2 weeks away.
I mean, it's not. Charlie's also in agreement as well with a month. At least it's not as bad as what happened at Wickham v Wimbledon this week as well.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that one for me is an absolute joke that has been allowed to happen. So for anyone that doesn't know, Wickham v Wimbledon has been moved from Tuesday coming to Saturday. This was done on Tuesday. This is like a few days' notice.
Yeah. It's a bit weird for the Palace players as well because they thought they'll have a week between their game against us because we played them because we're in the same group as these lot. We're already out. We played on Tuesday against Palace. No one knew except when I found out that a 15-year-old played in goal for us on Tuesday night, which still mental to me. Someone younger than me plays for Stevenage. But then go on. But now they've only got a few days to prepare, even though they're already out of the tournament. So it's a bit weird one. But yeah. It'll be interesting for this. But I'll be interested to see what the attendance is like because will it be more than they would? I understand why they moved it to a Saturday because with the international break, they've got more chance of getting attendance on a Saturday. But yeah, don't know. Be interesting.
It's just wrong for me.
Yeah,
it shouldn't happen. It's just poor. I mean, it's the EFL trophy anyway, so people might just go, "Fuck it, I'm not going."
Yeah.
Folk
are wanting to boycott that cup anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it now. I've sort of grown a thing for it with it about fringe players. It gives a chance for players who haven't got the opportunity to be in the competition and to have gameplay and have that game time. But yeah, I do think it should be the Premier League and the National League, so in the EFL. I think that'd be a great system to do it with. I just feel like it'd be brilliant.
I'm going to end it on this note. We've had one comment come in that was corrected. I'm putting this up purely for the point of YouTube. I'm not going to, in fact, sack it. It came in. Charlie's put up, this is about players in the National Leagues, put up Ben Fister, for example. And then he went, Foster. Anything else anyone wants to bring up before we wrap up tonight? We are all good. We are all good.
Yeah.
Everyone that's listening, everyone that's commented in, thank you so much for listening once again. Thank you for giving up your night and listening to us. If you are on YouTube and you haven't yet subscribed, you know what to do. Just go below where the video is. Go down here. Not on Lauren's head. Below Lauren's head. And there's a subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button down there. And there'll be a little bell next to it. Hit that bell and that will notify you when we go live on YouTube any day. Also on YouTube, there's 2 interviews up that we've done this week, both being launched. We had one launched on Wednesday, one launched on Thursday, today. 2 great interviews. One with Pete Wild. If you've not listened to it, go and listen to it. If you want to listen to a League 2 manager who has come from pretty much nothing, listen to it. That man is an absolute inspiration for what he's done and what he's achieved throughout his career and what he is wanting to go on to do. He's a phenomenal man. We're also going down, myself, Liam, I think Hannah as well, we are going down to Barrow. In a couple of weeks, we're going to do a crossbar challenge with Barrow and sitting at one of their training sessions. So thank you very much, Pete Wild, for allowing us to come in and do that. Otherwise, we've had Andy Woodman as well this week, the Bromley manager. What a guy he is. There's been we had a fantastic conversation with him last night. We spoke a lot about mental health in football, his career. We're talking names like Dennis Bergkamp, Gareth Southgate, Ian Wright. There was some crazy, crazy names coming up in that podcast. So give it a listen. He is one of the most interesting men I've spoke to in the game. And just a nice man, gentleman, and a scholar. As Ian said, everyone click the like button. If you've not listened to any of our other podcasts, go and listen to our National League podcast, League 2 podcast, League 1 podcast, and the Championship podcast. We do quite a lot. We've got a busy team. Owen, thank you very much for coming on tonight. It's been a pleasure having you back on Breakdown. Lauren, first show. Sorry, I shouldn't clap into the mic. It goes crazy. First show. How have you found it?
Not too bad, I was a bit scared to begin with. I was scared that I would not be able to answer anything, but I have been able to. Had a good chat. Nice to be introduced officially. So glad to get started.
I can't see Hannah's face below in the studio, but I know Hannah's probably beaming from ear to ear just now. She's like, yes, this is it. It is done. Everyone, I don't know who the panel is going to be next week. We'll sort that out at some point this week. Everyone, have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back on Sunday with the 606 on Twitter. Everyone, have a great weekend. We've been Luke Sports Media.